Good morning, guys. I'm having a cup of coffee and I'm rejoicing and I'm excited just because uh, I will rejoice each and every morning. This is the day the Lord has made. But I wanted to talk about the power of planting a seed. Okay. I want to talk to you guys about an experience, a couple of things that happened in my life by experience, and it ties in together because I was thinking about this last night. But when I was a little girl, the background of our family history is the majority are Catholics, and as a little girl, I went to a Catholic church. I think we stopped going when I was about 6. And we didn't go regular. We went every blue moon. We weren't regulars. But I remember I just never understood it, I guess because I was so young anyway. But it was so confusing, and I remember them throwing me in a box. Not throwing me, but telling me I had to stand in line, go in a box and talk to this grown pawpaw man who was called the priest. And I remember I was so scared. I didn't say anything. I was just sitting in a the birds are out. But I was sitting in a box and I didn't say a word, and I was just so terrified. And I mean, it really just terrified me. But it was a confusing brought up. It was a confusing religion. I didn't understand what it was about. I mean, I knew that there was a God. Obviously, I knew there was a God, and I would color God sheets and things like that. But I remember going home, and sometimes at night we would have to kneel down by our bed, and I would be wearing this scapular, which, if y'all don't know what that is, it's a Catholic religion thing where you wear where it protects you at night. It's supposed to protect you at night, which is false and which is idolatry. So please do not go buy one and wear one, because Jesus Christ, if you're saved, Jesus liveth in you. He is your protector. You don't need anything else to protect you. You don't need holy candles. You don't need a priest. You don't need Mary. You don't need no kind of statues, nothing like that. But anyway, I'm just letting you know about the power of planting a seed. And I remember kneeling down. And of course, when you're little children, when little children pass away, they automatically go to heaven anyway. So this is just a seed that I now look back and realize all this time these were seeds. So I'm kneeling down and I'm saying the Lord's Prayer. We would have to recite it. And that was it. I remember a lot, and this is going to be another video, but there was a lot of demonic things that happened to me as a little girl. Anyway, so then years passed, right? We don't no longer go there no more. We don't go to church. We don't, it's just weird. I'm in and out of mental hospitals with my mother. I'm on drugs. I'm on coke. I was on coke really, really bad for a while. Pills, all these different things. And I remember, let's fast forward to high school. While I was in high school, I became friends or associates with this one in particular sister who I knew she was saved then, because she still goes to the same church now, and actually her and her husband are becoming the pastor and the pastor's wife, and it's just amazing. It's a beautiful story. But they got married very young. They were in the Lord ever since they were little kids together. And she took me one time, I was in high school, and she invited me to her church. And I was like, okay, why not? Sure. I was on coke. I was high as a kite, guys. And I remember going in, and I remember just feeling so bad that I was on coke. I was sitting in a church, and I'm looking around, and I'm just like, I already, like, they weren't judging me. They welcomed me. Okay. And that right there was planting a seed. But I was feeling like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here, because I knew what I had been doing. I didn't understand, again, the gospel and all of that, but I remember just, it was like God was working, and the seed had been planted, right? And then let's fast forward to my first marriage. We got a divorce. I was 17 when I had my first child. And I even had a miscarriage and every other thing. But I remember after the divorce, I was still living in Georgia, because I live in Louisiana now, but this is my hometown. My home state. But when I was living in Georgia, I remember this angel. I didn't know it was an angel then. I just thought it was like, ooh, because I used to be in tarot cards and stuff like that. And I just thought, ooh, wow, the spirit being is, I knew it was like a force, but I just couldn't like connect it, because I wasn't saved. And I remember he was tall, he was black, he was handsome and pure. He looked so pure looking, and he just popped out of nowhere and said, everything's going to be okay. And it was a man in the flesh. And I was like, what? That was another seed. Then let's fast forward again. I got married to my second husband, who I am still married to, who I love and adore, and I am in love with him. We've been through a lot. We've been through our ups and downs. I mean, we've been through the ringer, but we've been together now for over 10 years. And his sister, when we first got together, I was on, what do you call those pills? I was on a bunch of, I loved the uppers. I would stay up for days and days and days. I remember going to college, and I was up for days and days and days. And in college, and I was working and taking care of a little boy. And I remember when I first met my sister-in-law, she was kind of, she would kind of talk about Jesus and God. And I would listen, and I would say, okay, whatever, I remember, and that was also a seed. She invited me to her church. That was a seed. I believe she even gave me a Bible. That was a seed. I remember I remember one time the Bible was sitting right next to me on my bedside, and I picked it up, and I actually laughed at it. Me and my husband, now that I am married to now, I looked at him, I was like, yeah, the Bible, okay, and I was like picking on the Bible, guys. And I picked up the Bible, and I was like, I flipped through it like I read something. I was like, oh, like I was picking on it like it was old, like it was dead. You see what I'm saying? And like I just threw it back on my bedside, never read it. Never read the Bible until the demons fled out of me in my living room 7.5 years ago. So I didn't know nothing about the Bible. When the demons did come out of me and I started reading the Bible, I began to cry and cry and cry and cry. When I would read the Bible, I couldn't get enough. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. But anyway, this whole video that I'm trying to tell you is that don't ever, never underestimate the power of planting a seed. And we as Christians, born again Christians, true born again Christians, we sometimes don't realize what seeds are being planted in other people's lives. And sometimes we plant seeds in other brother and sisters' lives, and we don't even know about it. And so the unbelieving world, guys, believe it or not, are looking in to our life. They are examining us. And so this is another video that I want to make as well. I want to make a bunch of videos. There's already 2 videos that I want to make. First of all, I want to make one about where the gospel is eternal salvation. And number 2, to be a born again Christian and live like the unbelieving world is not helping nobody. And you might as well be unsaved if you're gonna live like that and just twiddle your fingers and just live like the unbelieving world. That's another video. But anyway, I love you, and don't ever underestimate the power of planting a seed. And please post your prayers below, because I want to start doing that on my videos. Please, guys, I want to pray for you. My email is Anne, ANNE, DOVE 86@yahoo.com. And yeah, so I want to hear from you, and I love you, and I will see you guys soon.